get this heavy behemoth up to speed and get our cruise control activated, because we've got a long drive ahead of us. Let's get you, what's our speed limit? 80, I think. Yep, it is 80. So let's get it roughly around 75-ish. This should be good. Cruise control set, and we are looking sorted. I don't know, somewhere I feel, even though ETS2 is really good, the amount of assets, the amount of work that has gone into ETS2, it still somehow falls short of the gameplay that you get from ATS. Almost feels as if ATS is, even though it's the same exact engine, somehow the gameplay is a little smoother, a little different. But then again, when it comes to American Truck Sim, one thing that I absolutely dislike about it is the fact that those cabs are so small. They're just so tiny. Like, you look to the right and the cab's just done. Like, pretty much to the center console and you're done. That's it. That's the size of the cab. Whereas when you're playing ETS2, Euro Truck Simulator's cabs are just, ooh, mamma mia, just perfect. And therefore I suggest those of you who have not tried this game in VR, you must. I'm waiting. I mean, they are working on the DX11 and trying to shift this game from DX9 to DX11, right? DirectX. Once they are able to implement this entire gameplay on DX11, very smooth, all optimized, then maybe if we get into VR, it probably even might become official. Like, the game would officially support VR maybe. And when it does, which I'm sure it will someday, don't miss out on the opportunity. Please don't. If you like this game, you are gonna fall in love with it once you try VR. Even this thing for that matter. The Track IR that I've got right now. It's just so much of comfort that's added along when you've got Track IR. So much comfort. And same goes for a steering wheel. Like earlier, in fact for years probably, I played the game without a steering wheel, just with a normal gamepad. And as soon as you play it with a steering wheel, you cannot go back. You just cannot go back to keyboard and mouse. Like, I've gotten so finicky that if I want to play the game and I don't have the steering wheel set up, I won't play it. Genuinely. I don't know why. It's weird though. It's actually a little disheartening now that I say it like that. Why am I so addicted? Then again, I'm playing this game after months. Actually, after months now. Of course, it's all very competitive. The peeps I come across also are of that mindset, and I told them about this, and I showed a couple of my videos that I've made, like the Euro Truckers video. If you were to type !truckers, it will pop up with a link to YouTube, and you ought to give it a shot. It's basically a documentary that I've created, a small little documentary, 10-minute long, with some interesting nuances added along over there. But nevertheless, I mean, when I did talk to these peeps about this game, they were surprised as to why would people be interested in a truck simulation. And then when they noticed that this is the second best game when it comes to streaming, their jaws were left open. They could not understand how or why. Well, I think I understand why. It's the community, right? It's the community that has genuinely made this game survive for ages. Whoopsie. Oh, this is just a little kiss. That's okay. Damn, this dude's in a hurry. I'm doing 72. What speed is he going at? 85 or what? Guts, mate. We've actually got a double, so might as well bring it down to even 65. Just to be safe, because the turn that is coming up seems like this. All right. Yep, 60 was good. See, that's another thing. So I did let you know that I am playing with the physics mods enabled, and one of those is called Momo's Physics Pack, right? Or something like that it's called, 7.1. It is all available on the Steam Workshop. Most of the mods I end up using are available on the Steam Workshop, so it's not that difficult to come across. Now, had I not had that enabled, the turn that we just took probably would have been a lot easier, going at 65, even 70 kilometers. But that's what I was referring to when I spoke about the community supporting this game so much. You've got fabulously talented people who are creating amazing mods for this game that actually change the dynamic of the gameplay. Which is really cool. There are only a few games that have lived since their inception at this sort of a pedestal. Like Euro Truck Simulator 2 is a game created by SCS, right? The developers behind this game. They've pretty much had this game be a part of these Steam Awards every single year. And I'm talking about since the past 6 years, I think now. 5 years maybe. Nah, more than, yeah, something like 6 years, I think. Dude, they've implemented so many things now. What they need to do is perhaps even have things like, things that they've spoken about earlier. They've had a lot of interesting conversations with Squirrel, Paul, the YouTuber, and they were talking about a lot of interesting things that will be implemented. Slowly and steadily, they've actually surprised us with a lot, but I don't know. Now, when it comes to the gameplay itself, what do you think? What sort of change would you want to see? Hold on, did she say keep left? Whoops. And you're back. No problem at all. Welcome back once again. What GPU do I have? I've got RX 480 8GB. It's an AMD graphics card. RX 480. It's an extinct species graphics card, to be honest, because as soon as this thing was released, I was too quick to get my hands on it. And after like 2 months of it being released, 3 months, it was just not worth it, apparently. Or there was some issue with it. They had put a limiter of some sort or something like that was happening with the RX 480 cards. So they discontinued, AMD discontinued, and ended up getting the RX 580, I think. The 580 series is now available. 560, 580. But not the 480 anymore. You want to get a 1080. Of course, by that you mean 1080 Ti, right? Because I mean, the way I see it, mate, if you end up getting a graphics card, don't get a card that's 3 generations previous, because that's what you can afford. I would rather recommend save up. Save up. Save up till the time you cannot get the best of the card that is available to you today, because these cards genuinely do tend to run out of life really soon. Like, you might buy a 1080 today, which is already extinct, by the way, pretty much. I mean, it is not an extinct, but you understand what I'm trying to say, right? So 2 years down the line, that 1080 is probably going to be worse in certain sense. RTX 2080. Ooh, now you've got yourself somewhere. Oh yes. But of course, I completely understand. That is a bit too much of a behemoth to actually get. Too big of a behemoth, actually. dude. I mean, the Nvidia has got the ray tracing technology being enabled, right? It's going haywire. Everybody's talking about it. But honestly, I don't know how much is it actually going to be utilized. It's probably similar pricing. Is it? Is it? Seriously? Because I remember I was looking at the 5700 or something it is from the AMD, the recent one that they're launching against the RTX series. That one was for like $380 compared to an RTX, which is a lot expensive. I think a lot expensive. Or I might be wrong. That's what I've come across. Yeah, I would genuinely want to get the RX 5700 or whatever it's called. I was legit going to buy it, but then I realized that it's not only the GPU that I have to upgrade, because the system that I've got a 500 PSU, 500 watt power supply unit, and when it comes to the 500 watt, it's just not enough. It's not going to cut it. I'm going to have to upgrade that to an 800. Which would then imply that I'm going to have to upgrade my UPS also. I've got an APC UPS that gives me a decent, very decent backup. But on that, as you can see in this small little monitor right here, where is it? Oh, right there. That is the point right there. You see that yellow semicircle that you can see? That is the monitor that I use. It's an audio monitor, right? KRK. So one individually is like 300 watts or something, I think. And if I get an 800 watt PSU, I don't know. Oh yeah, a lot of expenditure just to get a GPU upgraded. Darn it. Why is it so tough? Your GTX 970 is still holding me through the processing. Oh, well, that's the beauty of these products, right? Like, I've had this RX 480 since a very long time, and somehow it's just surviving, even though the company discontinued it 3 months after its release. It's able to play VR games, not as fluently, of course. That's okay, but it's still able to continue. It's not just drop dead, which is good, which is great, which is how it should be with the product.